Thanks. Hi, I'm Christine. I'm the Executive Director of Kidney Cancer Canada, and I welcome you to our first Coffee and Art. This is our first time trying this event. I'm very excited about it because I love to be creative, and I hope you all do too. And we'll see how it goes, but it's very casual, very easy, no previous experience needed. Mary is going to lead us through this painting experience, and hopefully at the end we all might be able to share our creative endeavors, and we can have some casual conversation as we go along. But I'll just first introduce Mary. Mary Infant Wallace is our artist, and she began painting after her first magical trip to Algonquin Park a long time ago. Her enduring enthusiasm for Canada's land continues to flourish, especially when she paints at her woodland studio in the Algonquin Highlands. Honoring the intrinsic balance and beauty of the natural world is a consistent theme in her work. The luminous colors in her paintings conjure connections to the dynamic energy of land, sea, and sky. Her vibrant artworks grace public and private collections around the world, winning awards such as the International White Raven Award and the National Outdoor Book Award. Mary has taught in many art workshops across Canada and is a long-standing Haliburton School of Art and Design faculty member. The YMCA Western Ontario has recognized Mary as a woman of excellence in arts, culture, and education for her community contributions as an artist. Thank you so much, Mary. I'm so glad that you could join us today, and I'm really looking forward to a creative experience. I'll let you take it away. I'm just going to make one more comment. We just want people to realize this is being recorded. It is a Kidney Cancer Canada patient event. So anything that might be said in this recording stays in this recording. If there's anything that needs to be eliminated, we will do that. But I think for this event, if you don't mind, we'll just keep it casual and focused on the art and stress relief and just doing something creative for ourselves. So welcome, Mary. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'll let you take it away.
Okay, thanks, Christine. That was quite the introduction. It's like, is she talking about me?
Yes.
I've spent the last pretty well a year here. This is my studio, and you can see what I do to calm down, to feel good, to just be present is to paint. And I'm very good at painting ugly paintings. That's always part of the process, but just moving the paint on the paper or on the canvas for me is a wonderful way to relax. And you can see that nature is where I love to be. So most of my paintings do have a theme of nature, and it's just something that calms me. We've all heard that nature bathing or being out in nature is really a wonderful way to be and to heal. That's kind of the theme or the focus today, is even a memory or of being in nature or thinking of those feelings can, for me anyway, it takes me away from the mundane, from my worries. I carry lots of worries with me, but when I paint, they all fall away. Or when I'm outside, it's a lovely summer windy day. I think it's the summer solstice today. So we're going to do a summer painting. So I'm going to switch my camera, and I'm going to show you how I mix some paint. And what this type of painting is, it's using light, medium, and dark sepia tones. It's something the old masters have done, Leonardo da Vinci, many women, of course, who remain unnamed from that point in history. But this is a very regular way to paint, to start a painting, and many artists paint in just these colors. And so I'm going to show you how to mix a little bit of paint, and then we're going to do some playing, and I will talk a little bit through that as I demonstrate with my other camera, and then I'll pause, and that will be time for you to try something with your paint. You can paint on 1 sheet, 2 sheets, no sheets, 3 sheets. I see some beautiful blank walls there. Maybe you'd like to add a little texture and flavor, sepia nuance to those. So I'm going to switch cameras now. I have a little, you can see this little arm here. I'll show you what it looks like. I have a little setup here. I'm going to bring it down. This is all new for me, learning how to communicate online. So we'll switch and see what that looks like. There we go. I'm going to move it down. And you can let me know. I want to make sure at first I get just where the coffee should be there. Okay, can you see that all right?
Yes, that's pretty centered there, Mary. That's great.
Great. Can we maybe make that full screen? So here we are, and I do like coffee. I love my coffee, especially in the morning. So we're going to mix up a little bit because we're not painting huge walls right now. We're just going to mix up a bit of coffee. So I'm going to take a teaspoon of instant coffee and put a little bit in. Just have a little bit of water in here. I'm going to put that in and stir. So that gives me the color that your regular coffee might be. Now we'll just test it. I'll show you that you take this, and I've got some heavy paper here. So you can see that's kind of a light color. So I'm going to take, will be my light color, and I'm going to take some of that and pour it in the other cup and add a bit more coffee. Give that a stir, and that will be my medium color. We call that a value. So there it is, a little bit darker. And then we're going to take this medium, pour a bit in there, and we're going to add even more. There we go. I love the smell of that coffee too. Those coffee beans are delicious. So I'm going to stir that. This will be my dark color. See, it's quite dark. And then I've got a little bit of coffee left here, and I'm going to add just a few little drips of this dark, and I'm going to stir it up, and it makes kind of a paste. And that is a lovely, deep, rich, the color is called sepia tones. It has a nice, warm, soft feeling. So I'm going to see how you see all those little details.
Yeah, it's really quite amazing, the difference there, Mary.
It really is. It goes from light to dark. And for any painting, here's a little painting that I did with coffee. You can see, trying out the different right there. You can any painting or any picture, if you want it to look realistic, has a balance of light and dark. It's very much like life. Life is full of light and full of dark and everything in between. So I love the metaphor. Here's a summer painting. I love being outdoors in the summer with the wind and the trees, and you can see you can paint with just coffee and getting different values. So I'm going to give you a minute to mix up your paint and get it ready.
Okay.
And then we'll start on we're going to do a trip through the forest and paint different textures and different paths and how that looks and feels. So I'll give you a minute to mix your coffee and let me know when you're ready to start.
Okay, thanks. I'm going to start mixing now.
And feel free to ask questions if you have any.
Mary, I have a question.
Yes.
Was your water cold or did you heat it up a little bit?
It's plain old,
Well,
straight out of the tap. You don't have to boil the water. It works just great. I've tried it with all different kinds of coffee and cold water is just fine.
Mm.
I think I might have old coffee. Mine isn't working so well, but I'm just going to keep mixing and we'll keep going.
Mm.
How's everybody else doing with their mixing?
Okay, I'm done.
Jan's
Okay.
done?
Yep.
Elaine, are you okay? Are you all ready?
Yeah, I think so.
Great. Karen?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, so I have a few sheets of paper here. You can see here's one where I was just playing around. And we're going to start, we're going to do a path through a forest walk. And you can see later I went and I had lots of thoughts and ideas as I went. And later I went back in with a pencil, just scribbled some of my thoughts and feelings. We'll do that at the end. So we're going to take a brush, and you don't need, I'll have light, medium, dark, and detail. There we go. So I started out this day, actually, I was outside for a while in the wind. I have a horse and I was visiting my horse, and my family, whom I haven't seen much of, has had lots of different issues and worries and troubles. And it's been, it's been difficult for me because I haven't been able to be with them. They live in a COVID hotspot. So that I feel sometimes like I'm carrying those worries around or troubles. So whenever I paint, they seem to leave. So the way I do that is I think when I'm painting, I take some paint and I think, yeah, here's my worries. I'm going to leave them. Before I walk, I'm going to dump all my worries here. Here are some of my worries. And those are the symbols of the things I carry around that I just want to leave behind today, or at least for this hour that we're spending together. So think of things that you might be carrying with you, maybe not worries, maybe should have, could have, and just put them down. And that's at the edge of a field beside a forest. And you can see the path. You can see an opening between the trees. And you're just leaving anything that's in your heavy backpack and place it down at the opening of the path. We're going to start. You can see the sun coming into the path. I'm just going to very nicely start winding through this sunlit path. The sun is streaming in from that field, and you're starting a walk through this beautiful forest. Maybe it's a place you've been. Maybe it's a place you can just imagine. And you're remembering to breathe, like the trees breathe. In and out. There's no right or wrong way. Just keep stepping, walking along the path. Here's some of my steps. Walking. Feeling the breeze. It's peaceful. It's a beautiful forest. Relax. You see the trail ahead. You can see the forest is getting a little darker. There's still lots of sunlight flickering through, but you're curving around the next corner. And you're noticing there are roots on the ground all around you. There's moss, lots of little plants. you want, you can add the detail of those little plants and get your little brush.
Hey, this is such a peaceful walk, but I just want to make sure I'm following. I should be adding my little details as I go along. If I see something along the path, like maybe some stones or something like that, should I add those along like you are?
Yes, you can paint as you like. You can stay on the path, but you're looking out along the edge and you see these beautiful mosses and plants. And you can see that's what I'm doing. I'm going back and I'm looking and I'm in my imagination. I'm seeing these tall trees, the roots, the little tiny drops of moss. Just stopping for a minute, breathing. Trying to see how being in this beautiful, peaceful forest feels. I can smell the forest. Kind of smells like coffee. Delicious. I can see the shadows here and there. Oh, I'm gonna look at this dark spot. If I see a mysterious dark place, I'll just paint it in nicely. I love the mystery of a dark forest space. Really dark spots. That's where the magic is and the mystery. Now I'm going to be brave. I'm going to walk through this dark forest. I'm going to take the path going through.
It's actually kind of cool.
All the texture. Oh, I see a little pine cone hanging. There's a bough reaching down towards me. I'm going to paint some of those, that bough reaching for me from this beautiful tree, almost like it wants to say, it's okay, come on down. Here, look, here's a little pine cone. Got some little tiny seeds hidden inside. There's always richness in that darkness. And breathe. I see so many. The more I look, the more textures along this path I see. Patterns, textures. I see little moths flitting. I see a spider web hanging in a tree, looking at the fine filaments. There's so many more things I see everywhere, all around. Painting, be comfortable, breathe. I see a little stream. There's a twinkle of water. Now I can hear it. There it is. It's a little creek. I'm walking along that creek. Almost sounds like it's singing. The water's dancing across the stones on the bottom of the creek. Sparkling water. There's a little bridge I'm going to cross over that little bridge on the path.
That's funny. That's just exactly what I painted.
Yeah,
It's really amazing what you can visualize, eh?
it is. It is painting and visualizing can take you to magical places inside of yourself that echo the peace and beauty. And nature teaches me so much
Oh yeah.
because everywhere I see nothing is perfect, and it's so comforting to know that nothing is perfect. The old trees, the fallen trees, the young trees, the trees with crooked branches, they're all part of this beautiful, magnificent forest. So we're noticing this canopy, and I look ahead and I see if you're running out of paper, you can always add more paper. You can paint on cards. You can paint on anything. Well, here we go with I see up ahead, I see a bench. I think it's a fallen log at first, just on the other side of that bridge. And I'm looking at that bench. Yes, it is a bench. It's a big old log. Look at all the texture and age and wisdom in that. I'm going to go and I'm going to sit there for a minute with peaceful and hear the creek, the birds sing. And I start to drift into a beautiful daydream, light and easy. Breathing, closing my eyes and feeling what that feels like to relax there in the forest in a daydream. I'm going to paint my daydream is in this circle. It's a circle of light. It's a peaceful, beautiful place. The seat is so comfy. My dream is so vivid. And there's a present in my dream, right in the middle of my dream. Here's my dream circle. I can't really put a word to it, but it's like a gift. It's a present. I wonder what that is. I'm going to paint that feeling of that beautiful gift that has come to me in my dream. Feels like a wise, wise elder swooped into my dream very softly to give me this gift. It makes me feel at peace, and I accept it, whatever that is. I know it's for me.
So, Mary, may I ask a question?
Yes, please do.
What would you like, or what do you guide us when we're thinking about our gift? It can be anything. Is it something personal or just general, or?
It helps you, it just comes, whatever it is. It's a gift, and a gift is a pleasant thing. It's an idea, could be an emotion. It's a personal message, and it comes to you. You don't have to get it, you just wait. And if it's a feeling, it feels like getting something, maybe unexpected, something that's perfect for that day. And for me, it's the feeling that I just got when the birds were there and the wind was there, and it's called gratitude. That's my gift. It feels like gratitude. I don't want to, because your gift will be different, everyone's ideas and thoughts. So it's a thought, but it's a happy thought, a thought that your wise, wise old self would give to you. And you sit with that and breathe with that. Maybe it's a wish that you have.
Okay.
Is that?
Yeah,
Does that
no, it's helpful. Thank you.
could be courage. It could just be a reminder to keep breathing. And you're resting with that.
Right.
As you breathe at that special place. It's like any journey in life or in a forest. There's always a surprise. You never really know for sure what's coming. Like painting. Painting's like that too. What is that?
You're never sure what it's going to turn into.
Never sure, but just being grateful for being here, still here, able to look at, watching how, like any natural substance, like in a forest, watching how the coffee grains move, go that rich, rich tone of the coffee, the nuance and the color, just appreciating it and not judging it. Letting it be what it is.
This would be really easy to do. Like, I'm so glad you taught us this because this is really easy to do and it's I find it very therapeutic. You know, it's not you don't have to get out a whole bunch of art supplies and you know, it's just, you can just quickly get this stuff together and just paint what you're feeling.
That's exactly right. And as I say, there are no right and wrongs, but even watching the way the color is moving and pooling and changing, it is an illustration of what life is.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always a surprise. Some are good. It depends on your point of view, doesn't it? So,
well, even that moment, your point of view, because it can change, you know, as life changes so quickly, your painting could change so quickly too.
It does. And to let go of the judgment is such a challenge, I find, when I'm teaching painting.
Mm-hmm.
But to let go of that, and this is a non-objective type of painting, it's just exploring patterns, textures, feelings, and I find it helps to visualize an experience. And sometimes it can be a positive experience, but it doesn't have to be.
Right.
Sometimes you can paint your feeling of sadness or fear or a sense of adventure or acceptance. We are creatures of emotion. We have hundreds of emotions every minute of the day. And sometimes just acknowledging them is a very healing thing to do. And visualizing being in nature, even if you're not outside, is very calming. And just gently stroking, brushing, going back. So here we are with our beautiful daydream. So now we're going to, always good when you're painting or when you're having any kind of time that's just for you, it's good to take your time, and now we're going to go and we're going to head back through this path. See where we've been. And it's so interesting because as you head back, you start to see things you didn't notice at first. The magic of how that coffee went in one stroke from dark to light. You see all those textures. And in spots where you thought there was only a great deal of darkness, you go back in, and if you take some clean water,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just going over this spot here and lifting it up, and I thought there was right here, right in that old log,
Oh, yeah.
you can lift out.
So you can create with light on top of the dark that you've already created.
Absolutely. As we go back along and you see what you've done, you see
Mhm.
what you've noticed before, and you're looking back and you're saying, oh, I didn't notice. There is a way to get light in this spot. It's near the bench where I was sitting. And as I go back, I can say, I didn't notice. I didn't notice this beautiful nuance going from dark to light and this dance of color by the stream. And look, this looks just like a little fish joyfully swimming in that stream. Let's notice some of the things that really are gifts for us that we so often pass by. And I'm sure you'll see different things on your path. So go back along it. Don't forget to breathe.
Well, I speak for myself, but I find this making you breathe and be peaceful.
That's exactly what painting does for me, Christine.
I do, I'm not, oh, hey, I'm the first one to say I'm not very, very good at being creative, but I love being creative.
The nice thing about this is you don't have to have a judgment because there's no right or wrong way. There's no outcome except the
Mhm.
process. And as humans, we are all very creative beings, but somehow along the way, we've lost that. Someone's told us that,
Yes.
you didn't color in the lines or you didn't draw that right. But we're born very creative, and I'm sure you might have memories of being a child and feeling that freedom and the excitement of making something, feeling back as you go along. Say, oh, gee, look at this. I didn't notice this before. I'm going to put a little drop and a frame because this part I really like. Because that reminds me that the trees are always there. They blow in the wind. I wish I was more like that. I wish I was more flexible when the winds
That's-
come and go.
And I have to say,
Just thinking about
you're talking about no judgment. I can throw this in the garbage after if I'm telling too much of my tale.
or if you really like coffee, you could lick the really dark parts, right? Keep it as a snack.
There you go.
That's what or you can wash it off, right? But that's the thing. It's the process of enjoying this day and enjoying and losing a bit of that control, because as you go back along, you'll see there are places that are absolutely exquisite in the little blossoms of paint. I could take this and frame it. It would be a beautiful piece. They look like magical moss blossoms. And I didn't create those. I let them happen. I let it be. And that's the joy of losing, not always having to be in control, accepting what has come.
Right.
You can see when we first started out, it was going back. And seeing the light the dark.
Well, now you can start adding details too that, beginning this, we weren't really sure what to expect or, but now we kind of know a little bit about the journey and what we can add. There's so much we can add too.
Absolutely. And as you return,
Mhm.
read, as you're going back along that path, that's exactly the journey. It's about the journey. It's about the process and seeing the nuances and then adding, oh, I like those. I didn't really notice all of those little plants at the edge of the path. Look, they have little flowers on them. Or just let's try adding just a little more pattern right there. The forest is an exquisite place to observe pattern. But if you look at your painting, you will see there are so many places where there is pattern. And there are places where I want it to be a quiet
Mhm.
place for a pool for reflection. But here, I'm going to make a little spot here. You can see if you brush out some of the color, pick it up, you've
Yes.
created some light in the darkness. And here's a little reflecting pool. Well, I'll stop and make a little place to sit, perhaps a hammock to lay in. All of those peaceful metaphors that you find valuable in your life. Draw the feeling of them in, paint the feeling. I love all the different nuances of very, very light, always trying to leave a little bit of light.
Don't do like me, stick your arm right in it and mess it all over your page.
But it's okay. It's okay if you do that because it will wash out. It's
True.
if you know it, it's such a beautiful, beautiful, rich tone, this sepia color. And that is the color. It's an ancient color, and it's actually made, the color of sepia, made with coffee, but it's also made with cuttlefish.
Oh gosh, really?
The dye from cuttlefish is called sepia. And so in many of the old masters paintings, that's what the color is, made from sepia. I love all of these colors. So I'm getting back to where I started.
How's everybody else doing? Everybody else okay?
Yep.
If anybody has any questions, or if you'd like me to show you how I built up like a more realistic painting, but I love this, playing with paint. And often, as I look, it gives me ideas. If I'm preparing a gift and I want a card, I might take a piece of this and put that on a card, on a white card with a message. Or I might decide to use patterns on a larger piece and use it as wrapping paper. Just such a peaceful, wonderful way and calming way. And it gives me ideas for other paintings I might like to do, but more than anything, I find this very, very calming and peaceful. And I'm getting back to that path where I started, and I see where that light in the field was, and I see where I put down all my burdens and stones. And for now, I'm going to make them blend into the forest, and I'm just going to leave them there for a while. I'm not ready to pick them up yet. And as I look back, I see this gorgeous place. I I'm ready. To see, it looks very much to me like it could be in the forest, like tree bark, with all of the tiny little nuances and feels. And every one I do is unique, different, and unique to me.
Right. I know that we're painting with coffee, Mary, but I guess you could do this too with like a simple dollar store, watercolor paint kit.
You can paint with, of course, with watercolor. You can paint with charcoal from a fire. You can paint with dirt. All original pigments are all found and made from the earth. So you can paint with anything. Of course you can. And you can paint with food color. It's not permanent, but you can. And if you do paint here, if you paint with coffee and want to keep it, then just spray it with a varnish. And here, in this one, what I've done, and I've had a few thoughts while I've been painting. And so then I will just add, if I want to, text to what I had painted.
Right.
Reminding myself,
idea.
Breathe, Mary, breathe. And so sometimes I find if I'm feeling tense,
right,
I have to keep reminding myself to take that deep breath in and deep breath out. But now I can go back over, and with a pencil or a pen, I can write. There was a little insight I had there. So I'll just make that, it looks like kind of like an eye. And I'm looking back at that gift I got, thinking, I want to remember that. That was a lovely thought. I want to keep that. And I might write a word for what that is. Acceptance. That's a gift. Go with the flow. That's what this little fish is telling me with that little creek. I'm going to write that in. Just go with the flow.
That's a good idea.
And here by the bench, they're not right here by the bench where I was sitting. I'm just say rest. It's okay to rest. Rest. Reminding myself to look for those patterns. Look at all of these wonderful patterns. Here, courage. It took a lot of courage to go across that bridge. I wasn't sure what was coming as I go back and look over it. Lots of courage. Here, on this part.
One thing I'm learning, I think, is I'm too tense a painter. I'll have to learn to let go a little bit like you do.
And I think that's it's like life, isn't it? You can't control everything, but enjoying the process is very much a part of, especially this. And you'll soon start to discover, oh, look at what happened here. I can play with that some more. I can look at this bit, especially when you start going back and writing or drawing into where you were. I love this rich piece here. I just love this piece. But you can see if it's still wet, you could put in all kinds of textures and lines still.
Right.
I would love to hear if anybody would like to share their thoughts on what they're doing or have any questions or comments. I'd love to hear if you found a gift, if so, or what your journey was like.
Well, I'm still working away at mine, but I don't mind sharing a little bit. I'll just turn my camera on. And, okay. Wait, I put a piece of paper behind so it doesn't show through. Okay, no laughing. So here's my journey. And I followed Mary's pattern of starting here, over here. Oh, I'm doing it backwards, sorry. Here, and like just trying to discover different ways to, and you can see, where did I find where I am? Here, I kind of got on a highway part, kind of got lost out of the forest, and I tend to do that sometimes. get going the wrong direction, but you find your way back into the forest over here, and then you go along. And Mary brought up the great idea of the water. So I have the bridge with cattails, and I have a duck in there. And then as I'm going along to, I get backwards, sorry, where I'm sitting on my bench up here, and mine is, I'm just so grateful for family. That's what my treasure was. And although we haven't been able to really get together and spend time like we have, I'll share, it's been kind of a struggle for me. I have grandchildren and children, and we love to spend time together, and it's just been very, very different for all of us these last almost, well, year and a half for sure. And I look forward, that was my son in here. I look forward to, oh, this side, sorry, that maybe someday soon we'll all be able to be together again and give those hugs and be able to have a picnic and everything else together. I think it might happen. I'm hopeful. So that was my sharing. And if anybody else would like to share, please don't feel you have to. This was just an experience of stress relief. We as patients and as people have a lot on our mind, and dealing with a lot of different things through each day. And I have to tell you, this was very relaxing for me, Mary. I really, really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Does anybody else want to share? I'm not hearing what anyone said. Did everybody have a good time? That's the main thing.
Christine, I can show you mine, but mine, I was just trying desperately to make it look okay. so I can't.
Great.
So I can't tell you.
Look at the texture and movement in there. It's wonderful.
And the light.
I can't give you a story on it really, but except that my treasure is an angel up here.
Oh.
I know it's an angel, but I'll work on being a little bit more creative with it. But this is fun. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Good. Jan, that's great. That's a good gift. Jan and I sometimes talk about angels, so.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Elaine, do you want to share?
Well, I had a little bit of difficulty because my coffee is not instant.
Understood, but I'm glad you tried.
So I have all of my little cups and I put a little bit of the granulars in their little pouches and tried to make them a little darker. So it didn't come out as dark, but I did appreciate the breathing part because I feel like my stomach is in knots and my jaws are hurting. So that breathing was like a good reminder. Okay, yeah, you just, you keep going and going and going and you just forget to breathe and relax. So that was really, really important for me. And I do find with the gift that really makes you focus again on like the family being our rock through all of this journey. So COVID has had its advantages, but it's like disadvantages. But I found you're with your family more. Like our kids and my husband and I, we're going for walks, we're having our Sunday night dinners, and so it really kind of, you remember when Sunday shopping didn't exist?
Yes, yes, that's
I
right.
I really at some points I kind of think that was unfortunate, that really was it was grounding, for
It was.
families.
I have to say, as tragic for some families that COVID has been, and it has been tragic, there are still silver linings to be found. And this is a perfect example. What you've just explained is because we have the time and we're not allowed to, do the everyday things that we got used to, it really has focused us on family and spending time together and doing the traditional things that we used to do that we got away from. So, you know
It
what? I
really
miss those Sunday dinners too. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
great.
And that was very observant. Thank you so much for sharing. And
Yeah.
sometimes I think what COVID has also taught me, like you, is sometimes the simple things are just
Mhm.
as pleasurable or more calming. For instance, painting. Who would think you could just sit and paint with coffee for an hour or two, and it doesn't matter.
I'll share with you a few of our paintings that we've actually done.
Oh, wow. Elaine, that's great.
Oh, I took them downstairs and put them away, but this was one.
That's so great.
Oh,
That's fun.
Delightful, joyful. I love it.
oh,
Yeah,
What did
that just speaks fun.
And there's another one that you can see to the back of me. It's right at the door, where my thumb is there. My daughter did like a bouquet of flowers. Um,
Oh,
we did a cherry blossom tree. And in the winter time, we did a snowman.
right.
And my mom at the time, she was in a retirement home, and so we, because the two of us were making one each, so I took them to the retirement home, and but it wasn't COVID, but it was just unfortunate times with isolation. It was very hard, so I lost her in March.
Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that.
So I
Yeah.
do find, thank you, the being creative is definitely something that has helped to ease that a little bit and get back into that. I hadn't done it. When the kids were young, we did a little bit, but then
Mhm.
once they started to get older, not so much. And it's funny when you said you could take a piece of your artwork and cut it up. And my daughter was finger painting with all of these glow in the dark paints. And so it was my son's birthday party, and he was having a glow in the dark golf day with
Oh,
his.
yeah.
And so I took the paper cutter and cut them into little small name tags, wrote the kids' names, and then I had those little, wire picture things to just stand up. So each had a place card.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So it is great that, if the kids you have that artwork that the kids go, Mom, why did you save that?
Oh, yeah.
It is good to use.
That's wonderful. And there's something special about a handmade
Mm.
gesture, right? Even if it's a card. So if I was to take this, a piece of this, right, and like you had said, just cut a piece of this. I'll cut my gift, and if you cut it at the edge, it doesn't matter, or you can tear it. That leaves a really nice handmade look if you tear the edge. But then if you just fold a piece of paper
Mm-hmm.
or cardstock or take the back of a card, it just makes a beautiful card. You could draw an outline around the outside, and you could put a little note and say, this is just a little thought, or this is a gift I'd like to give you, and it represents calm on a summer day, or
Oh, nice.
whatever you want. But it's special because you can say, believe it or not, I made this just for you. Can you smell it?
Mm.
And try to
Does
smell
the coffee smell stay once it's all dry?
No, it doesn't stain as long as it stays dry. If you wanted to, you can spray it with hairspray. Hairspray actually would act to seal the surface. So give it a good spray, it won't hurt it. And if it's all wonky and wobbly, if your paper was thin, just put it under, once it's dry, you spray it, but then put it under a book, and overnight put it in a book, and it'll totally flatten out. And as I said, it'll make lovely little cards, or cut a few little pieces up and glue them down, make a pattern. The act of making something to give someone, it can be such a gift. And while you're making it, that person, you're thinking of that person, you're having that experience. Again, like you said, I'm not sure what your name is, Elaine. Elaine. It's such a thoughtful way and creative way to spend your time, and it's so calming.
Well, we have thank you cards we have to write, so
That's
it's
a great idea.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have any other questions myself, Mary, but I've certainly learned a ton and had a most enjoyable experience. Jen, I know you slipped off camera, but I think you did too, and Karen and Mona, and anybody else that's joined us. Thank you for participating. Mary, is there any final comments you'd like to make, or?
I'd like to say thank you as well for joining me. It was fun. This is another coffee painting. So you can't have it look like a picture if you want, but I love the play of just painting. It's freeing because then there's no, it has to look like this. It's really nice to let go sometimes. And it was really nice to be in this virtual room with you, with fellow creators. Thank you so much.
Mary. And I want everyone to know that Mary has very generously donated a painting. We are going to put the attendees' names, and we'll have someone that has not attended draw the name. And Mary, if you will, you'll mail it to our winner.
As soon as I get the address, I'm going to, it's on a frame.
Yeah.
And it will have a hanger on it if you want to hang it, and it is varnished. So I'll pop it in the mail the same day that you let me know who would like to have this.
I will certainly do that, Mary. I'll send all the information. And that is a gorgeous painting. Thank you. I would love to have that in my house too. And you can check out your website. And I understand, Mary, you're going to be doing some teaching at the Haliburton Art School this summer and fall. I know it's very popular and probably full, but I understand you're doing some online classes in the fall?
That's right. We're teaching on site in the summer. I know last year we couldn't, everything was shut down, but we have so many safety protocols. Classes are small. So it's going to be wonderful. The energy, like doing this together, the energy is so wonderful when you have creative people together making something.
Yes.
So we're really looking forward to that. Of course, we'll all be masked, and
yes.
but it'll be wonderful. And you're right. In the fall, we're going to be doing. I'm going to be doing online classes, and that's new for. I do teach online, but not in the visual arts. So things like this are a wonderful way. I mean, I love seeing your faces, and you don't have masks on. I can see your smile. Or it's going to be a whole new world, isn't it?
Well, if there's anybody that's interested, I think they could just go on the Haliburton Art School website, and they would probably be able to track you down if they're interested. I know that I'm going to take a look. Thank you. Okay, Elaine, do you have any questions? Are you good?
Oh, I'm good. This was very, very nice. Thank you very much, and thank you for supporting our group.
No worries. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much. Love it.
I've had a lovely time, so I'll let you go now, Mary, and get back to your painting in your studio. And thank you, Elaine, for joining us, and Jan and Karen and Mona. Thank you, everyone, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Be safe. Bye-bye.
Hi.
Bye.